Now let us understand the RFP in detail, how it looks like. Okay, so the idea here is to go through the details of the RFP. Then we will see the details of RFI. First, let us understand the RFP, and I will show you a live RFP uh, on the mostly on the Google, how it looks like, and we will navigate through the documents of a particular RFP. So let's get started on this part. So till now we understand that RFP is nothing but a document which predominantly contains requirements. Okay, so this RFP is floated by a company, we understand that, and then it is circulated to all the vendors or partners. Okay, partners then bid for a particular RFP. Okay, now think of a situation that there is a company, uh, let's say company ABC, who wants to implement Service Cloud. Okay, so let's consider a simplistic example. They want to implement a Service Cloud, Salesforce Service Cloud feature. Okay, for this they have floated a RFP. Okay, so there would be some vendor uh, which will come and complete the implementation, let's say in 6 months. Okay, now post that they will need someone who can maintain the system. Now what is that? Okay, so once that implementation cycle is done, okay, there needs to be some team who is actually maintaining the system, maintaining as in if some ticket comes, they need to resolve the ticket. If some enhancement comes, enhancement means further feature, they need to implement the feature. Okay, so the implementation team typically will walk away once the implementation is done. Okay, so that is known as support. Okay, so RFP can be floated for predominantly for two requirements. One is implementation, okay, and the second would be support. Okay, support is also called AMS. Okay, we will get into the meaning of AMS terms, managed services. What does this mean when we talk more on the uh, winning themes and proposals of how to write a response for RFP. But for now, let's understand step by step that there can be two types of RFP. Okay, implementation and support. Okay, now there are there are two types of players or companies in the market. One would be the private sector. Okay, private sector. Okay, example would be someone like Honda. Okay, or maybe Volkswagen. Okay, and so on and so forth. Okay, then there would be public sector. Okay, governments. Okay, sector. Okay, governments. Okay, so governments can be US government or India government. Okay, any government where they want to modernize their system, they are working on legacy and they want to change the system, so they can get into RFP and float the RFP to the vendors and all. Okay, there is a basic difference between the RFP floated by private sector and the RFP floated by public sector. Okay, so if you see any RFP that has been floated by a private sector, okay, there will be minimal compliance related documents. Okay, typically RFP will contain a RFP document. Uh, RFP document. Okay, so let me just put it here. Okay, so RFP will contain typically RFP document. Okay, then it will contain a cost sheet. Okay, then it might contain a requirement document. Okay, then I think then it might contain other supporting documents if they want to achieve some uh, legal related documents. Okay, legal documents and things like that. Okay, and in some cases they can also send a statement of work, SOW, but largely 99% of the time, okay, this SOW or statement of work will come once the RFP stages are are done. Okay, so this is just before project to start. Okay, but these are the things typically they can send. Okay, everything is known as a RFP pack. Okay, so basically all the documents will be zipped. Okay, and it would be sent. Okay, so these documents is nothing but known as RFP pack. Okay, so if someone is telling we got RFP pack, then essentially it means we got all these documents. Okay, the same RFP pack, okay, when we talk about government, okay, will contain these things plus n number of other things. Okay, like you know like compliance document. Okay, legal document. Okay, company incorporation. Okay, requirements. Okay, so and so forth. We are anyway going to see a proper RFP in just next 3-4 minutes. Okay, so we will see. We are going to take the example of government RFP only, so that we have a full laundry list of everything, because private RFP would be subset of government RFP in terms of documents and all. But yes, so RFP when floated by government is very extensive. They ask for n number of documents, and we need to comply with all the documents, or else they will simply reject our response. Okay, so the takeaway of whole the whole things that we talked now is RFP can be of two types. One is implementation RFP, one is support RFP. Now what is what, we'll discuss in next session. I don't want to confuse. Okay, and then RFP in terms of who has floated or which company has floated can be of two types. One is private sector and second is government sector. Okay, and the last thing that we discussed is that if the RFP is floated by government, there will be a number of documents that we need to uh, fill and respond to them, typically, which will be way more than if the RFP is floated by a private company. Okay, now let us quickly go through a typical RFP. So the idea here is to understand how to read a RFP. Okay, how to respond, and how we can create a win themes or the topics that we'll learn in the next session. Okay, just to mention, this session and the next session, and most probably next to next session, is going to be a bit longer and laser focused on the content. Okay, this session will be a content heavy. We'll have to spend our time with full focus, but the guarantee I would give that anyone who goes through this session will be very very comfortable in all these terminologies: RFP, RFI, okay, and other artifacts that I'm going to cover as a part of these 3-4 sessions. Okay, and they will be very much up to speed on how to respond to RFP, how to understand RFP. They will not never be intimidated by this RFP process. Okay, that I can guarantee at the end of this course. Okay, fine. So moving on, let us try to understand the RFP uh, example in detail. Okay. So one thing I wanted to tell, this private RFP will not be covered and will not be present in the public domain. Okay, you cannot go to Google and you can just search them and you will get. It only comes with a connect. Okay, or let me spend some couple of minutes how a company or a vendor gets RFP. Okay, so every vendor, okay, will have a sales team. Okay, and this sales team will have connects. Okay, so the sales team will have connects to let's say some 4 or 5 vendors, 4 or 5 companies. Okay, so company 1, okay, company 2, okay, and so on and so forth. Okay, so whenever this company one, and they will register their name, they will register their company. Let's say the vendor is vendor 1. Okay, so basically they will register this vendor 1 with all these companies. Now each time a company is going to float a RFP, they will invite this vendor 1 for responding to RFP. Okay, so that's how a private RFP from a private company is it got from the for the vendor. Okay, now what happens for a public RFP? Okay, so public company, again there will be a sales team, and the sales team will register in a public company. Okay, so now what will happen, each time they will have a new requirements or they will have new RFP, the sales team who was registered, or basically sales POC, point of contact, who are registered, will get a notification that a new RFP has been released for this particular company. If you are interested, you can bid for the RFP. Okay, so that's how vendor or a sales team gets the RFP. There are other processes which I don't want to discuss now, just to avoid confusion. Like once they get RFP, there is something called RFP qualification. Then there are other steps also. Okay, so that we will discuss once we discuss the response to RFP. But for now, this is the whole landscape of you know uh, RFP, how it is received to a vendor, types of RFP, and how typically it looks like. Okay, the constituents of the RFP. Okay, now having learned this, let's navigate to a typical RFP and see how a typical RFP looks like. Okay, so I have already opened the Google. Okay, so let's search for a Salesforce Service Cloud RFP. So this is a public domain, basically Google search. Okay, once you search here, it will give you results. So I see RFP, Salesforce Service Cloud Implementation RFP has been released by California Health Benefit Exchange. So this is the company name. Okay, which has released RFP. Okay, and the RFP number is 2017 number 22. Okay, if you see, this is the implementation RFP. If we go back to our Excel sheet, okay, so this is this kind of RFP. Okay, where they want to implement something which is not there present in their current ecosystem. Okay, so basically once we read this terminology implementation, then it should click that the service cloud is not there in their ecosystem and they want to implement this. Okay, so I'll go to California Health Benefit Exchange company. Okay, so this is the landing page. Okay, so once you hit enter, it will land here. Okay, there are multiple tabs. So all these public companies will have multiple tabs. Okay, there will be one tab where all these RFP will be listed. Okay, that will be mostly intuitive. Okay, if you are not able to find, just click on all the tabs. Anyway, this is the job of a sales team to do. if we are a pre-sales consultant, we will get the RFP pack directly from the sales team. Okay. So I'll click on solicitations. Okay. So this is the place where they have covered all the RFP. So you see we have RFP 2024-01. Okay. Similarly 2024-03 and tons of other RFPs. Okay. We will just search for the service cloud. Okay. So let me search for the service cloud. Okay. So here is the RFP that they have released in 2017, number 22, and the topic of the heading of this RFP is Salesforce Service Cloud implementation. Okay. There is a button on details and download. Okay. Once I click here, you see there are multiple documents, okay, and the folders that they have provided here, and we need to make use of all the data that they have provided here. Okay, that's where responding to government RFP is a little bit of painstaking process. Okay, it's not as easy because you need to be compliant with the all the rules and regulation. Then we need to properly handle the cost. Okay, all those things once we go through the document, we will understand how complex this is. Okay, but everything is process oriented. If we follow a process, responding even government RFP is not a very although it's a complex, but it's not something which is not doable. Okay, so I have already downloaded to save the time. This is the RFP detail folder. Okay, we'll go folder by folder, and then we will understand what is the content of each folder. Okay, so this is the bread and butter of any pre-sales consultant or whosoever is telling that they know pre-sale cycle, or they know how to respond to RFP, or they understand the RFP process and all. Okay, they need to understand each and everything that is covered here. Okay, so this is the key thing, and I am going to spend a lot of time here. Okay, in the overview. In the detail we will spend even further time. Okay, but I don't want to just skim through this and give something which is not usable for all of you. So if you are investing time here on the video, there should be a solid takeaway. That's where we will go through document by document here. Okay, so the first document, once we get the RFP pack, where we should start is the RFP document. Okay, so this is the RFP document. If you see here, RFP 1722 Salesforce Service Cloud Implementation Service 51718. Okay, so we'll open this. Okay, so this is the first document. Okay, so it says something like addendum. Now what is addendum? Okay, so normally this addendum will not be present. Okay, you will see only in that government RFPs. This addendum is something which is released post release of original RFP. So let's say there are some correction. Okay, or in the original RFP they missed out something. Okay, and they wanted to add something. Okay, so they are not going to change the RFP itself. So the common thought process would be, if I have missed out something in RFP, or if I have made some errors in the RFP, let's revoke or take that RFP out and send a new version of RFP. Okay, so this is not how it works. Okay, if they have missed out anything, they will send an addendum marking everything. Okay, that in this section, in this paragraph, this was missed out. You consider this. Okay, so that's where all these addendum comes into picture. So if you quickly see, if they are telling RFP section 1.2, okay, so this is a proposal due date. Okay, similarly for this they are telling removed vendor MQ number 2. Okay, so this is all about addendum. Okay, now the first thing, okay, once we open the RFP, is to go to the date section. Okay, why we need to go to the date section? I'll come and I'll explain. Okay, this is the most important section from a pre-sales or sales perspective, which we need to go through. Okay, that is the first thing. Okay, why? because in a happy go world, okay, the RFP will be received, that we think that RFP will be received well in advance. Okay, we will have plenty, ample amount of time to respond to RFP. We can take our sweet time and all. Okay, but in real world, it doesn't happen like that. Okay, there will be RFPs where you will have a lot of time. Okay, but there will be another set of RFPs, or there will be RFPs where you will hardly get 1 week or 10 days time to respond to. Okay, so if we are going through those RFPs, those are, by the way, those are called short fuse deals. Okay, I'm not getting into terminologies because it will unnecessarily confuse. Okay, but let's understand the concept. Okay, so for all those RFPs where we have less time, we need to get into the RFP, ASAP. ASAP meaning we need to start, collaborating with the architects, so that they can start estimation. They can go through the, requirements. Then they can estimate. Then they can come up with the team structure. We need to, rope in or get in touch with the project management team so that they can tell what is the best project plan that is possible. Okay, and believe me, all these things actually takes time. Okay, so the luxury of taking sweet time on deciding whom to reach out to, what to do, is not there if it's a short future. So the first thing we need to do is go through the dates and understand how this RFP should be pursued. Okay, this is typically a job of a pre-sales consultant. Okay, if you are from a pre-sales team, this will be your job. Okay, then once this is done, the next step is to, okay, for a pre-sales consultant, is to go through the requirements. Okay, we'll come to requirement in some time, and why I'm telling you need to go through the requirements, that will be clear once I show Q&A. Okay, but once, first thing we need to search for this, and second thing we need to search for requirement. Okay, directly jump to the requirement, then you go and skim through the RFP. Okay, the other important thing why we need to go through the requirement is the deal qualification thing. Okay, so let's say our company does not does not have capabilities or skill set in, let's say, Salesforce marketing cloud. Okay, Salesforce marketing cloud. Okay, somehow we got RFP from some sales team, maybe some vertical sales team. Then vertical horizontal is another concept. Okay, I don't want to get into that at this point of time, but I'm just telling, let's suppose that the sales team in our organization doesn't know about our skill sets in detail, and the moment they see this the Salesforce RFP, they just blindly forwarded it to us. Okay, but Salesforce is not only Salesforce, right? Salesforce has multiple clouds, multiple skill sets, and now the Salesforce ecosystem is so vast. You cannot treat Salesforce as a as a product. It's a product suite. Okay, so they send this RFP to us. Okay, the first thing is that we need to quickly go through and see and understand whether this is something which we can respond to. Okay, if this is something which we cannot respond to, okay, then we need to directly reach out to our pursuit lead or the sales team, or anybody, any POC who normally acts as a bridge between sales team and pre-sales team. Okay, and tell that this is something we don't possess the skill set. Okay, where do we get that insight? That insight is seen in the requirements. Okay, so that is the that is the second most important thing after the dates. First we need to see the dates, then the requirements, then we need to decide whether we can go ahead with this or not. Okay, so once we decide that okay, this is something we have done in the past, or this is something, let's say Salesforce Sales Cloud or Service Cloud, okay, which we have a plethora of skill sets. Okay, we will go through this, then we will start reading RFP. So how to read the RFP? Okay, we'll go to the introduction section. We will this overview section will tell about what company is trying to achieve. Okay, key dates we discussed. Okay, contact, obviously, what is the contact point from customer side for any clarification questions. So this is what they have given. Okay, contract amount, this section might be present, might not be present. Okay, so they are upfront telling that 3 million is their budget. Basically the RFP deal should not cross 3 million. Okay, now there are other caveats here, which we can discuss at a later point of time, but this is something which you will not see in RFPs. So very rarely you will see that they upfront will tell budget, because what will happen if someone publishes a budget, then vendors or partners or whosoever is responding tend to align to that budget. Okay, so even if the solution cost is half of this, somehow they will align, try to align to this budget. So normally people avoid giving this information. Okay, contract terms, we'll talk about contract terms, 3 years contract, 2 year contract, things like that. Okay, amendment. Okay, then bidders question. What is this bidders question? Okay, as soon you get into RFP, the first party who will see the RFP once the sales team forwards will be the pre-sales consultant. Okay, or you. Okay, now the second most important party which needs to be involved and see the RFP is the technical team. So technical, mostly it would be a pre-sales architect. Okay, who would be roped in for any deal. Okay, they need to quickly go through the requirements. Okay, from the technical angle. Okay, and they need to put down their questions that you are telling about service cloud. Okay, let's say it's a service cloud RFP, and for the sake of argument, let's say they have not mentioned whether they want CTI or not. Okay, so we need to ask question whether you are interested in CTI or not. Okay, CTI is basically a computer telephone integration. Okay, so those kind of questions, some technical questions, then some tactical question. Okay, would you be open to phased approach? Okay, something like this. Or you want a big bang. Big bang basically means one shot you want the full development to go live, or you want a phased approach. Okay, something like that we can ask. Okay, so that questions will be drafted from your or from a pre-sales perspective. We need to go through all the documents, contractor documents, compliance documents, and if we have any question, okay, we need to cover those kind of documents. That you have mentioned that the bidders can be only from USA. So let's assume that they have mentioned something like this. Okay, can we staff our resources to offshore or near shore, whether that is possible or not. Okay, so these questions we can ask. Okay, so all the questions will be formed and will be sent. Okay, now they are telling submission of final proposal, how this should look like. Okay, bidders cost should come, completion of proposal, and they have given some details here. Okay, then errors, then all those details will be present here. Okay, proposal volumes, they are telling what is the submission model. Okay, so there would be two separate bundles. Okay, one is cost proposal, one is technical proposal. Okay, so normally they can give and they cannot, they might not give this information. Okay. Then they are telling a format of proposal. I will quickly skim through. The idea here is to understand how to read RFP. Then they are asking California rights. We need to go through the section rejection of proposal. What will happen if the proposal rejected? Criteria for rejection and all. Okay. Then what happens in the error in the final proposal? How you can protest? Let's say someone has been awarded. Okay, how are you going to protest that? I need the confirmation why I was not awarded. Things like that. Okay. Disclosure of bids. So quickly we will just go through all the sections. Now the minimum qualification. This is another another section where you need to go through. So basically this minimal qualification will help in qualifying the RFP. So I discussed some 15 minutes back that the moment we get RFP, we need to qualify the RFP, whether we have skill sets or not. Okay. The other qualification criteria is the minimum qualification. So they are asking 3 years of demonstrated experience in the Salesforce Service Cloud is a must. Okay, if this is a must, and if you think that we don't have the 3 years of experience, okay, then this is a disqualification criteria. We cannot respond to this RFP. Correct. So Now, similarly, they are asking us Salesforce certified consulting partner. Okay, all these things mandatory. Okay, so this is the minimum qualification criteria. Okay, then they are asking, they are telling that for project team minimum qualification in this. Okay, similarly for scope of work, this. Okay, so that's how this RFP will be, RFP is framed, and that's how we need to read through this. If you see here, there is a section where telling current functionality. Okay, so they are telling these are the current functionality that is already present there, like service center operation, like service center support services, sales agent support, customer engagement. No, then we have other things. Okay, and they have given some diagram also. I'm not going through in detail because the idea of our discussion is not to solve the RFP. Okay, our we are here to learn how to read RFP. Okay, so this is the current CRM functionality that is present here. So this typical, now where this will come handy. Okay, so this is their as is process. Okay, so while we are responding to RFP, right, there would be a section where we will tell this is our understanding. Okay, this is your current as is process. We see these challenges, and with our to be process or our solution that we are going to pitch. Okay, these are the challenges that we are going to solve, or these are the problems that we are going to solve. So that's where this as is diagram or as is landscape, if we have that, okay, becomes very important. Or let's say we have in as is process we already have a middleware. Then in our solution we can use that middleware. Okay, so this as is process or as is architecture diagram is a very important piece of any RFP. If we get that, it's it guarantees that our response will be very much aligned to what they are asking. Okay, then proposed functionality and services. So these are the proposed functionality we need to go through. They are telling number of 2000 Salesforce Service Cloud license. Okay, so we will understand. So this is the number of users, so the end users who are going to use the system. Okay, so similarly we can ask for the persona. So this is what you are telling about the end user. Okay, we can ask them question, who are the persona, whether it would be only sales support or there would be sales manager persona also, there will be some sales leader also. Okay, so that we can plan our solution like that. Okay, then scope of work, they are telling scope of work is attached in the exhibit A. For someone who is new to this term, scope of work. So this scope of work is the actual work that they are asking us to do. Okay, this is the scope of this RFP. Basically, the requirements I have been telling all these times from the start of this session. This section or this document, separate document exhibit A, will contain all the requirements that they are asking. One thing to note here is this scope of work might not be the granular level of requirements. Okay, they don't provide, or there are some RFPs where they will provide a granular level, but mostly they will provide a big picture of what they want to see. Okay, and there, once we win the project, okay, we need to get into a session with all their business users or their business teams or technical leads and all, to understand what exactly is needed in each of the functionality that they have mentioned. Okay, then contract completion criteria, milestone, all these things will be present. Let me quickly skim through because we have a lot of documents. Okay, then they are asking for subcontractor and partners. Okay, so typically in government RFPs, what will happen that let's say they have asked for some requirements, let's say service cloud. Okay, I as a vendor have, let's say, some skill set, but they are asking for something more. Okay, so they are telling I will be a contractor or a partner. I can subcontract internally and give some piece of work to other contractors also. So those contractors are called subcontractors. So there are rules regarding the subcontractors. Okay, we cannot hide that. So all these government RFPs, the contractors information, that is basically the prime vendor information, is sent. Okay, and any subcontractor that we are engaging for any piece, okay, we need to tell that well in advance to the government. Okay. uh, then we have the other generic terms, team overview and things like that, which we will see once we you know go through the solution. Okay. This is, I think, the evaluation criteria. This is also important thing to consider, because based on this we are going to focus on while writing a response. Okay. So they are telling the maximum weightage is on cost, 35%. Okay. So this cost plays an important role. So this proposal should be aligned as per their budget. We cannot breach the cost, and this cost optimization plays the most important role, is what they are trying to tell. Okay. Then obviously understanding a project, then approach to implementation. I talked about phased approach, whether you want one shot everything or you want in a phase one, phase two manner. Okay. So all these things, strategize things and all will also matter, but this section will essentially tell where our focus should be. Okay. Okay, then I think project team qualification and things like that. Then yeah, I think all other things are just the details which we need to go through while reading the RFP. But I think the key things we covered. So key things, whatever we spent some time here, those are the actual key things that needs to be covered while reading the RFP. Okay. Now Exhibit A is the requirements. Okay. So we will go here, and the second thing would be to go through the Exhibit A. So this is the requirement. So scope of work. Okay. This is the Exhibit A. Okay. So if you go to this Exhibit A, okay, so this exhibit will actually enlist the scope that is there for the RFP. Okay. So general scope of the task, this is what they are telling. So software development life cycle is what they are envisaging. Okay. So these are details of the SDLC phase. Okay. Now they are telling these are the features. Okay. So this is the most important thing. These are the requirements they are asking. So like I was telling, that they can give a granular level of requirement, or they can give a high level requirement. So in agile terms, they can give a epic or they can give a user story, but mostly user story are not provided. User story, we need to get into a project, groom user story, groom epic or requirements, and find out user story. Okay, because they cannot give a user story at this point of time without proper understanding of the systems or the expectation from the customer. Okay, so this is mostly like epic. So this is what they are telling. The solutions shall have the ability to create contact records. They are asking contact function should be there. Okay, ability to create cases, so they are asking for cases. Okay. Then this is the details of the cases. Cases shall have associated call type, disposition, and things like that. Okay. The ability to use chat features. So they are asking for chat features. Then they are asking for restricted access, sharing settings, and things like that. Okay. Then they are asking for create, update, modify standard fields. Okay. So they are telling that they should be, admin should be allowed to create, update, and modify. Okay. They are asking for knowledge base also. Okay. Then they are asking for reporting capability also. Then asking for convert existing contact records and into Oracle. Okay, so they are asking for Oracle Service Cloud CRM to Salesforce CRM. I think this is data migration, if I am not wrong. Include conversion of existing contact record and incident from Oracle. I think this is data migration. Okay, then they are asking CTI. Okay, so computer telephony integration. So again, they are asking for this Finish CTI for screen pop. These are the functionalities. If you know, I think well and good. If you don't know, also this is not the you know discussion area. These are the typical say service cloud functionality that every implementation will have. Mostly 60%, 70% would be the overlapping implementation for any customer who are new to service cloud. Okay, if they are going for implementation, you will find similar kind of implementation. Okay. Then they are asking for okay, this is I think regarding personal. Okay, SME they are asking. Okay, so this is the first section, which is the software SDLC. They are asking what? Okay, which also contains about the actual requirements. This is mostly epic level requirement. These are the epics, or more than epics also. Epics can can be created from this. Okay, this will be groomed and probably created user story, but this is overall picture of what they want to achieve. Okay, now other things that they are telling that I need weekly status reporting also. I need agile methodology for development and team management. Software application development, this is the detail they are asking. Okay, they need workflow automation. Okay, then some security standards needs to be followed and aligned to. Okay, they are this is outlining exhibit D is what they are telling. Data conversion details are there. Integration, they are telling that the solution will integrate data from multiple external system. Okay, so there is an integration landscape also. So the service cloud will be implemented, but this service cloud which is implemented might be integrated with their some back office system, maybe Oracle. Okay, for their master data, or maybe some lead management system. Okay, so all those things will be there. Okay, document management is also there is what they are asking. Technical documentation, they want this. They want a proper process for code review. So knowledge transfer, so knowledge transfer means once we implement, then we need to enable them with all the knowledge, and then we will leave wind up the project and all. Okay, so they have specifically mentioned what they are looking for in detail. Okay, how we are going to utilize this information while writing response, right? We need to make sure that whatever they have asked, we need to tell how we are going to achieve that. Okay, so just pick any section. Okay, integration. Okay, how we are going to achieve this integration, which middleware will come. Okay, how we are integrating this. Okay, what will be the data flow look like. Okay, whether it will be a real time batch. If not this point of time, then we need to the ask is that this data integration should be there. Okay, similarly for this the core sales cloud. Okay, sorry, service cloud features. Okay, we need to present architecture diagram, how the cases will come, where the CTI, which I think finish is what they are telling for CTI. Okay, how the CTI system will be integrated, what will happen if someone calls. Okay, how the routing will happen. All those things we need to cover in our solution in detail. Okay, so this is where this is the second most important document that that we need to look to. Okay, then quickly going to the other documents. This is budget details and payment provisions. Let me just open. Okay, okay. So these are the budget details. Okay, so I think they have already mentioned 3 million there. This is the same that they are telling. This is the budget details. So this will tell how our proposal should look like in terms of cost. Okay, then cost worksheet. This template might be different for different companies. Okay, why I'm telling is some companies might be interested in a milestone level cost. Okay, some companies might be interested in overall cost. Okay, so they will tell that tell me the overall cost, um, uh, what you will charge for implementing this whole feature. So we will give a figure of let's say I will need 1 million, and I will do everything. Okay, some company will tell okay that 1 million is okay, but you tell me phase by cost. What will happen in discovery? How much you will charge? What will happen in UAT phase? What will happen in SIT phase? Or what will happen in sprints? What will happen in hypercare? Okay, so this particular company or this public sector is actually asking a milestone basis cost. Okay, milestone 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, so okay, not to confuse with the project management. Okay, once we are into project, right? Once we are into project, there is no one shot cost that is paid by any company ever. Okay, so let me just focus on this what I'm trying to tell. Okay, so let's say we agree with a company that I will do everything in 500K. Okay, No company is going to give me 500k upfront, okay, or no company is going to hold my 500k till the go live phase, okay. So there will be a milestone, that will be associated for every implementation, okay. Milestone 1, milestone 2, okay, that 15% will be charged after this, 15% will charge after that. Normally it will be a phase wise, like after discovery I will charge this, after let's say sprint 3 I will charge this, then after let's say SIT I will charge this, after UAT I will charge this, okay, after go live I will charge this, okay. So something like this they will come up, okay. But this detail, there they might not be more interested in the RFP stage, okay. So this detail, they what I'm trying to tell for this in pertaining to this RFP, so this detail they might not ask at this point of time. So at this point of time they might ask how much money you would need, okay. So but this company is asking milestone level at this point of time itself, so we need to be little cautious, because from proposal itself they are telling they are very cost conscious company. They are asking my budget is this, you should not exceed that, okay. So these things are pretty much expected, okay. So they are telling implementation cost budget is this much, okay. So you tell me how you have segregated, okay. Similarly they are asking for a fixed fee per sprint, okay. So they are asking for role, for how many hours you have staffed, okay, what will the rate per hour and what will the total cost, okay. So they have a very extensive plan for this cost, okay. So the cost per sprint is this much, then cost per overall maintenance operation, okay. This is the support one, which we will discuss once we discuss the AMS piece, okay. But overall what I wanted to cover here, that some company will have a proper cost sheet that they will publish me to fit. Some company will only be interested in that overall cost, okay. Now going to the next one, IT general terms and conditions, will not go through this in detail. Basically this will be a normal terms and condition sheet, what will happen in dispute, what will happen in termination and things like that, okay. Attachment and resume. So this actually normally all the companies will ask for either a sample resume, or how how you are going to staff a team, how your resources look like, okay. So some company will just leave up to us for the template, basically whatever we want to show in that resume. Some company or some basically some company will tell that I need all these information that you need to put in their resume, okay. So for this they are asking for either the information, or they are asking for how your resume should be built, okay. Privacy addendum, marketing branding guidelines, travel reimbursement, and things like that. So this contract document is is a full set of document that we need to be aligned to while writing the proposal, okay. So this is the first part. Then we will go to the second part, okay. This is the bidders library. So this bidders library is something I have not seen very often. uh, very rarely they will give this will give a sample document, okay. So you will give sample, they will just watermark, put a white label everything, and then give us like how your proposal should look like, okay. So this is something just to take a reference from, okay. Here also I see integration, so it is just showing the functionality may differ from what is currently in your document provided for reference only. So they are just trying to give this is how this is the sample document, this is what we are envisaging, not exactly this but something like this, okay. So I was talking about this architecture diagram, right, that we need to put as is process to be process. So these are the diagrams that we need to put, okay. So this is done. Then what else we have here, okay. RFP details, right, okay. So we have bidders library covered, addendum we covered, okay. Okay, so one thing I missed out, this question answer, okay. So once we go to requirement, right, so immediately what we need to do, there will be a window for the for asking questions. So they will typically give, let's say, 7 days window or 5 days window, okay. So we need to compile the question and we need to send it to them, so that we are in a better position to respond to RFP. Okay, there is no gray area. There will be gray area for sure, but that gray area is minimized. Okay, you cannot get 100% of question answered, and you cannot get 100% of clarity before the project starts. Okay, 100% of clarity we will normally we get only when the project starts. Okay, but the idea is to gain the maximum information at this point of time, so that we have a most comprehensive response, okay, that we can send to them. Okay, so if you go here, this is the Q&A they have uh, published. If you see, what is the estimated cost of the sales for service cloud implementation? Okay, so they have answered. Someone has asked, when does the state anticipate the Salesforce contract to be executed? So they have answered that July 1st would be the start date. Similarly, someone would have asked the technical question also. If you see here, I cannot see the technical. Yes, so this is a technical question. So what is the existing tool used by covered California for data integration anchor? Okay, so they're asking for any any integration tool. So we also touched upon that, right? If you remember, once we are skimming through that section, we can tell that those sections will come handy if we know the existing tools and all. Okay, so if that is in the landscape, so this they are using Oracle EDQ. So now this means that our solution should utilize Oracle EDQ, and we will try to utilize Oracle EDQ. Okay, because they have already procured this tool. Okay, they have, if it's a license tool, they have already paid the license. Okay, so our solution will be preferred if we are maintaining or aligning our solution so that their cost is minimized. Okay, so that's how we need to read through this. These documents are not only for namesake. One thing and one caveat here is, everything, every information that is published, we need to go through and we need to try to utilize in our proposal in some way or other. Okay, the most comprehensive response will be the one which utilizes the most information from the RFP pack. Okay, so this is done. Then what else we have? Addendum 2. So this is the addendum. I'll just quickly show the addendum. So they are telling this is the addendum in RFP section 1.2. I have corrected this, and the details of correction will be here. Okay, so if you go down, they will tell what they have corrected. So this is the concept of addendum. That's it. I think we have covered other documents. The last one that is pending, normally they can give a award information, they might not give a award information. So here they have given award information. They on June 22nd 2018, they have told that this contract has gone to so and so company. Okay, in consideration of response this announces intent to award this contract to this company. Okay, now that protest section they are skimming through, right? So they are telling, if you have 5 working days for protest, if anybody wants to protest, they can write to this point of contact and they can take it forward. Okay, so this is all about RFP. There are a lot of things that we will understand while responding to RFP. This is how we should read the RFP. This is the reading part. That responding part we will take it in a separate section because it will be too much. Today's section and the next section will be little bit lengthy, but trust me, if I cut short this, I will not understand anything. Okay, the purpose of the session will be defeated. So let's spend some time and understand whatever I wanted to convey.